Well, it at three levels: United, Progressive, Conservative. All three.
And Bill is unfortunately having an error right now. It's UCP, the United Conservative Party. So
Oh, well, excuse me.
they took the Progressive Conservatives, the PCs, and the Wild Rose, which was another conservative party, and the two of them got together and they elected a leader. But the leader that they elected is on his way to being, in his mind, prime minister. He was federal before, and he's come to our province, and yeah, it's not good. But enough of our woes.
Yeah.
Bill, you're supposed to say, "Welcome to the San Carlos Computer Club."
Oh, welcome to the San Carlos Computer Club. Scott Simpson is almost on his deathbed, he says, when he's not sitting on the throne. So I'm supposedly the one in control. Obviously, that's dangerous. I think I can meet.
I'm his sidekick, otherwise known as Vivienne, who usually comes in costume, and she does all kinds of things, and she's very loud. But I'll try not to imitate her quite as quickly as I could. Anyways,
We'll give you time to get changed then.
yes.
I don't know. I wonder, do I have the power of mute? Let's see. I don't seem to. Oh,
that's okay. A lot of
And you-
people.
Sure, well, I'm
You're-
just.
Cheryl, you're in your Canadian costume. Nice warm sweater.
Yes. Judy said something.
I said, you mute me.
I have a couple of wigs somewhere in the house, but and funny hats. Yeah, I could go to the costume bin, but I didn't get much notice because I slept in. But anyway, we have technology topics today.
No, we always start with recommendations. Come on.
I was hoping Chester was going to be here because I was going to tell him about my thing, but
They tried
I bet
to get into the meeting without the email notice.
yeah, I don't know how we can't forward it to all or anything. So
No, I don't know how to do it. I didn't get an email notice.
No, there did I.
I got in because Scott sent me the control thing where I had to click and say I would accept responsibility, but I didn't get an email.
yeah, I got the one from the San Carlos Computer Club, and I saw it on Facebook, but I don't even have anything I could forward to people.
Well,
Those of us are here barged in.
Well, plus mine came, through my Google Calendar, so I had to click on it that way.
Mm-hmm.
well, maybe this is it. This is the total of the club today. Who knows?
So Carolyn and I are watching that Israeli series. Is it
The Hunters.
No, Shetzel or something like that.
Pretty good, isn't it?
Yeah, isn't it? I'm really enjoying it. It was hard at first with the subtitles,
Yeah.
But I think I'm almost understanding Yiddish now.
I heard the next season is coming out.
Oh, good.
How's it spelled? How do you spell the show?
Oh, I can't say it, let alone spell it.
ZEL or something like that.
Do it again, Judy, please.
SHZTEL. Similar. It's on Z. It's on
Series on Netflix.
Netflix.
Yeah, it's a Netflix series.
Well, I started watching Hunters. That's the Israeli death squad.
I'm
Which
watching
is-
that too.
Which there's two recommendations are from before. One was Hunters and one was Pennyworth. And Pennyworth is that what is it? Elfie? No,
Al Pacino.
his butler. What's his butler's name? Batman's butler.
Oh, Batman and Robin. Jeeves.
Anyway, no, Anyway, it's how he became the butler of Batman's butler. But it's a really strange mix of back history for Batman, but dystopian sort of era that he's living in. Like you see in the opening scene, I think you see people hanging in gibbets from the sides of buildings. I think, what the hell is this? But and then public executions with people being eviscerated after they're hung. It's just it's a very strange kind of move.
This is Hunter?
No, this is Pennyworth.
Oh.
And where is that on? What is that on?
Oh, what is Hunter's? Oh, Pennyworth is
Well, Hunters
HBO.
is on.
I'm sorry, no, Pennyworth is on HBO, I think.
Oh.
HBO
And
Max.
Hunters is on.
Are they looking for
the other one.
neo-Nazis or Second War Nazis?
Second War Nazis, death camp Nazis.
Old guys.
Yeah, old guys. Well, mixed in with the new breed that are supposedly setting to take over the world with the old Nazis.
They ought to go to Argentina. They ought to go to Argentina.
I think that's where they're headed now in the series.
Mm-hmm.
Paul, move your head to the left. Oh, there.
Who's that?
Who's that?
Oops, you're muted.
It's either Rada or Rada's friend.
Yes.
It's one of his pictures, so I can't
Wait,
tell if it's him or not.
Did you have
I
to,
think,
did you climb there?
no. This is vicarious.
Oh.
We'll probably get a thing on YouTube if he posts this saying that we plagiarize. What does he call it when you steal somebody else's?
Yeah, plagiarism.
Plagiarism. Well,
That's with text. I didn't know about for artwork.
Well, if
Where-
I got
where do
any
you-
profit from
Copyright
it,
infringement.
where do you
Yeah.
get a shot that high up with a palm tree in it?
I guess he climbed one of the mountains there. So let's see. There's
Roma Del Mar.
yeah, but
Yeah,
I think
but-
it's in the big valley over there. The up in the hills behind.
Nakapuli.
No, yeah. Well,
Loma
it's
Del Mar.
west of there. Yeah, he gets the good
But I-
pictures though.
I just find it really, really unusual that you would have a palm tree on the top of a mountain.
Yeah,
That is very strange.
That's why they took the picture.
yeah.
Yes, it is.
Maybe they transplanted it. It's a prop.
That's-
Maybe he photoshopped it.
It could be.
You guys are watching those ones. Tell me a little bit more, James, about the one you're watching.
Schetzel or whatever. Well, it's a an Orthodox rabbi, and well, everybody's a rabbi pretty well, but they have other jobs too, and he's trying to decide about his wife right now, and there's huge pressure on him because he keeps going to parties where they talk about the children's children, and of course he figures he better get on the bandwagon, and so he's looking for a wife, but he keeps running up between two things: a young virgin kind of thing, and a widow. So it's kind of interesting to see in their world.
Yeah. Okay, so that's a series or?
Series, yeah.
Oh, okay.
And
I'm trying to make my way through that Succession that Chester and Jim Cunningham had said they enjoyed, and it's a family business and they're media moguls, but they're a very, very, very strange world. You know, he mentions the yacht and then the living conditions, I guess you would call it, that these people live in. But what I can't get over is the way they treat each other and the things they say to each other. It's quite bizarre. strange little fetishes and different things going on in this movie. I'm hoping it's not realistic. So it's a strange series, but I'm getting my way through it.
How many episodes?
Well, I watched the first season. I think there were 8, and I'm about number 6 in the second one. They're hour long.
And how long? How many seasons is there?
I've only see 2 on.
Oh, okay. 12.
What am I watching it on?
Mm-hmm.
I'm watching it on Stremio. Oh, it's an HBO. That's what it is.
HBO. There you go.
Okay, I started watching one the other day. It's called Ghosts, Ghost with plural, and it's a series. I believe it's on HBO, and it's about a couple that inherit a mansion, an old dilapidated mansion in England somewhere, and it's occupied by ghosts. It's a different premise, I guess, but it's quite amusing. It's strictly a comedy. And each episode seems to tell some of the backstory of one of the ghosts, how they got there, or whatever. It's just it's a fun thing to watch, I thought.
Yes, and also.
Oh.
Hang on, I'm just doing the office switch. I'm just going.
And then Bill, I think you showed that fire thing before
Yeah, on the background. Yeah.
everybody got here.
Oh, yeah, I ran across a website called what did I say? Easy Virtual Choir. It's for putting together ensembles of instruments or choir voices, and you basically have one master track, one song or whatever, and you each person loads it, opens up the website and sings along or plays along to the master, and it combines it all back into one song or one unit, and we'll publish a video for you. And it's free. Anybody that's used to playing instruments or singing with groups can use this to put together. You've seen them I'm sure on TV, on the internet, the choirs that are singing together, and they have 30, 40 people playing, and that's how they do it. This thing brings it together and synchronizes everything, and away you go. It's and it's free. That's the best part.
Jim and Gail could get a jam session going, Paul. A San Carlos Tecali jam session, but do it from wherever.
Yeah.
Well, I know when we have our book club, we've had a couple of birthdays during the time, and we've tried to sing happy birthday at the same time. Oh boy, it's not good. Because, if all of us tried to say something at the same time, like good morning, you know how it gets all messed up in these Google Meets and things. So it'd be interesting to see how it works on another piece of technology.
It's like a random round.
Yeah.
One half beat. Everybody's one half beat off.
Yeah. And the other thing that we've seen about technology is that's why I wanted Chester here, because he shared with us his heart valve replacement transplant. Anyways, my doctors are working on stem cell transplantation to find the cure for diabetes. And they've come up with this way of propagating islet cells, which is the part of the pancreas that makes insulin. And what they've done is they've got the procedure, and now they've got a scientist working, or a computer guy working on artificial intelligence to do the process, so that instead of having to hire all of these people to do the microscopic work and everything, that they can actually use AI technology to ramp up this production of islet cells to be transplanted into people.
Oh, sounds good.
Yeah. And that's my doctor in Edmonton is the team that are working on it. So, yeah.
So would this work for people who had type 2 diabetes?
that's what they're hoping, is that this is a cure, not another treatment for the controlling of blood sugars in the body. Whether you type 1, you don't produce any. Type 2, you have some, but it's not working as well as it should be. Is kind of the basic premise. So if they can find out a way of making your body control your blood sugars, then they've cured both types, all types.
Perfect.
You know, so.
Of course, that's sort of genetic modification, and so the conservatives won't go for it.
Yeah, there you go.
Until they get sick.
Well, every time we change government in this province, I have to really do a lot of finger crossing, because my transplant medications are covered by the whole procedure, and everything was covered because I was part of the research. And now it's covered because our provincial government is saying that they will cover these costs. I don't have to have my own prescription insurance. My medical plan is paid for by the province. But every time we change parties, they could take it out and say that, you know, this is not one we're going to cover.
How can they renege on a promise that they've already made?
Politicians.
They're politicians.
Yeah.
It's the ones that are in power. Like for a long time, they were doing, the ones that come up most often are erectile dysfunction, medications for infertile, you know, the fertility treatments. Sometimes they're paid for, sometimes they're not. Birth control pills. We have one government said they were not going to cover that as something, you know. So it depends on who's the government that's in power.
Well, the much more sensitive one is the transgender issues.
Oh,
The conservatives don't want anything to do with it, with any kind of treatment or anything. And the progress or the NDP, which are like liberals, so to speak, are fully in favor of supporting that issue. And each time the government changes, the wind blows the other direction. It's very similar to the states and support for Medicare or not. You know, I mean, Obama put it in.
They're going to renege on Medicare. You know, that's not going to happen.
No. Well, they won't renege on
But
it. They'll just tweak it.
Yeah, they'll tweak it and weaken it. The GOP was busy trying to cut little pieces out of it all the time, and the Democrats are busy trying to prop it up, put more in it.
They don't want to make all of us old gray-haired people angry, though.
Yeah.
More of us than there are of them, I believe.
Yeah.
Well, you
Yeah,
know
that's
you're
right.
in trouble when they start trying to suppress your vote.
Well, that's trying to happen everywhere in the U.S. right now.
Yeah, but it's more the brown vote that they're trying to suppress right now. They're not so. It's not so much getting after it.
If I didn't have an ID because I didn't drive anymore or for whatever reason, that would be suppressing my vote too.
True.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean,
I'm a member of.
why you should be able to vote without an ID. I haven't been able to vote without an ID since I first started voting, I don't think. So I don't understand that logic, but.
In BC, we get everybody that's qualified and on the list gets mailed a voting card, and you just take it with you when you go. Yeah.
I guess does it come down to they don't have mailboxes? They don't have addresses? I don't know. It's
You have to have a mail-in address.
You must.
Oh, homeless can't vote. Is that right?
What?
Homeless?
I would assume,
Oh yeah. I mean that means a homeless person can't vote.
unless they go to the post office box thing.
Yeah,
Oh.
but then you have to have money. So
Yeah.
Yeah, transient people. You know, I know the thing about picture ID. My sister didn't have a driver's license until she was 45 years of age, and
Right.
and so she always had a hard time. She ended up getting a passport just for that purpose. Never went anywhere, but she paid for and got a passport just so that she had some picture ID. And then
Mhm.
when we went to get our vaccinations, did they say 2 pieces of picture ID?
No,
No.
just
2
they
pieces of
said
ID.
2 pieces of ID, and I believe they wanted 1 picture ID. I don't remember.
Yeah, the 1 picture ID was the driver's license, and the other one is the Alberta health card.
They
So we had to have,
my Medicare card in Arizona
yeah, the same
didn't
kind.
even have a picture ID.
In BC, they've amalgamated our license, our driving license, and our health card are one now.
Oh, nice.
Oh. We have
So you
what's
need
called,
to,
we have something
need
called
to-
My Digital ID, and My Digital ID basically gets us to our taxes, our healthcare, our I think it can get to unemployment insurance, yeah, different things like that in Alberta.
So does that actually show your vaccination records then on it?
Yeah, I haven't gone in since I got mine done, but I know Bill's is
Yeah.
in there. Immunization.
Mine's there now. It shows.
Wow.
The other thing that's on our driver's license is a donor, organ donor logo. It's just a little heart that's down in the corner. That means you agree to donate your organs after you die. Just to be sure. But it used to be you had to sign the back or something,
Mm-hmm.
and then but they've now just put it just that little heart. If you sign off on it, you get the donor logo. It should be a big heart, but that's beside the point.
well, with our motor vehicles, you can get just an ID card.
Right.
Right.
Oh.
but-
Without the license.
Oh,
Not a license, just a card.
yeah, you can get that in BC too.
hmm.
But again,
ID.
it costs money to do those things.
That's
Yeah.
right.
It
And
does.
up until the pandemic, you had to appear there. So that's like a double whammy, getting to the motor vehicle department, waiting in line, and then paying to get an ID. That's sometimes beyond people, I think. I don't know the answer, but it does seem like they're trying their best to suppress specific votes.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well,
Look that way from
and
here.
if you're homeless on the street, getting a picture ID might be one of the lesser of your concerns. Maybe getting a meal today is the big, and staying warm up here. When it gets to 30 below, it's a little tough to stay warm on the street.
That's for sure.
I always wonder where Mexico, at least our area, doesn't seem to have a huge homeless problem. And I kind of always wonder why we in the US have such a huge problem, whereas here they don't seem to have that problem. There are a few. I mean, it's not like I have a few, but
I was talking to somebody about that one time a few years ago, and they said one of the reasons was that almost every person that you see homeless is there by choice. They all have some place, like some relative or some place that they can be in sheltered. But it's the culture tends to take care of everyone, and in North America, Canada, and that the people tend to just walk by. They don't look at the person; they walk by the person. And those people, some of them don't have a choice that whether they're homeless or not. They just do not have a place to go.
Also, we're very mobile too. Mexicans, not all, but they have a tendency to stay where they were born. Compared to us in Canada, we're all over the place. I'm living thousands of miles from where I was born.
Not me.
You're a rarity.
Yeah, some of us get born in a province and stay there.
Yeah, but still, even the provinces. How far from your birthplace do you live now? Hundreds of miles, right?
180.
Yeah.
She lives 180 miles. I live 300 miles from where I was born.
There you go.
What?
I live about 90 miles from where I was born in Colorado.
Yeah. Well, you're a lucky person to get born in.
I wasn't raised there. I was raised,
No?
no, raised in Kansas, but
In Kansas.
Kansas.
Well, I left home when I was not my whole family left the extended family when I was 11 out of the Great Lakes Basin. We moved to a francophone province, to Montreal. That was a pretty exciting thing to do. So I wonder. No, we don't have any technical.
I have a question.
Okay.
So Juan of Expro has now changed. We need to, in order to keep our service, we have to pay all year. Before we were able to put it on hold while we were gone and start it back up. And, I understand that issue with him. So, but my question is that now that my internet is going to be on all summer long, who has a recommendation for a security system that my internet's on, I might as well have one.
Well, what kind of security system, like how encompassing are you talking? You want alerts when somebody walks in a room?
Not really.
Or just be able to see your house, the inside of your house on a camera.
Outside, I have security because we have guards here at Loma Del Mar. But
yes,
on the inside, if a window opens, when it's not supposed to be open.
That's where then you put I don't know if they use the window or like the doors and window alarms as much anymore as they use just motion detectors inside, or cameras. Like right now we have Amazon, the Amazon Alexa. They probably just turned her on. But I have one of the units, it has a camera on it, and I can at any given time check in on that camera to see what's going on. When we leave here,
you check in from when you're here in Mexico at your home up there.
Yes, and I also have a bunch of smart devices that are hooked to the power or the lights. I can turn the lights off and on randomly as I see, and I can also check on my sump pump, my septic tank pump, anything, and see that it's working, or if it's working full time or whatever. So yeah, I assume that I have a fair amount of security on the house. It doesn't, like, we live on an acreage. It's not going to matter if somebody breaks in. They're going to break in and they're going to be gone by the time anybody ever gets here.
Basically, it's a curiosity thing for me.
Well, then
would like to know what goes on in my house when I'm not here.
So one thing Bill said he can see, what he has is an app on the phone. So that there's an app on the phone that basically records what's going on the different plugins. So we've got plugins, we've got light bulbs, and then I guess you have to leave an Amazon Dot here, do you, dear?
Yes, you leave the one, the Echo downstairs has a camera on it.
Echo.
So I can set it up on the cupboard somewhere, and I can check anytime I want. It wouldn't do it all the time. It just check to see what's going on in the house, I suppose.
Hey, Paul,
Yeah.
do you have something down here at your house?
No,
Okay.
no, but I heard an interesting story about people that were having trouble with their dog. The dog was a counter surfer. You know what that is? And so they set up a camera and the dog jumped onto the table in the middle of the kitchen, jumped from there to the counter, walked down the counter to the microwave, and pressed the button to open the door to get the meat that they had thawing in it.
Oh my gosh.
And they saw it.
Too smart.
So,
Yeah.
so Judy, you could have a system where when you went to a restaurant in San Carlos, you could check on what your dog is doing.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, he's gotten kind of old, so he doesn't jump much anymore.
The other thing you can do is you can turn the music on that device when you're not there. So, it may sound like somebody's in your home if you're looking for that kind of security. If you're just trying to see what's going on in my house when I'm not there, that's different. But if you want to keep it secure from other people, there are different things you can do with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Hey, Paul.
I know that Linda Gerber had a recommendation for a system that she bought down here, but I cannot remember the name of it. I don't remember if it was Wise or Nest or none of those. Neither.
Okay, Nest is one of them. Google Nest is the thing that it's like the Amazon Dot, the way that it looks like it, and the commands are different. You call it different things, and boy, Jimmy's driving in Colorado, and we get to see it.
You know that we're seeing him? We can't hear him.
I think he does, but he's muted.
Anyway,
Happy.
Paul, the guy that had the dog surfer, counter surfer, if you had the Echo, the one we have, you could yell at him to get off the table if you saw him there.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
Yeah, get down. But Judy, if you want to see what's
And the
going
dog
on,
goes like this.
Yeah.
if you want to see what's going on in your house, you have to point it at the floor because that's where the cockroaches usually are.
No, and the scorpions.
And the scorpions, yeah.
Yeah. So
I'm trying to-
no, it has been so foggy here and cool, but Semana Santa actually went on for 2 weeks. We had music the first Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then this past Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we had music again. So that was interesting, but they had the filters coming into town where you had to have a negative COVID test supposedly to come in. Not a resident here, but that's what they were saying to people. So where is he?
I've been reading a bit about that. Like at first it was you had to show that you had a test. And then some people are showing that they've been vaccinated.
That doesn't count.
It doesn't count? Oh, okay. But the other thing. And then there's a whole big discussion on the one bulletin board about how San Carlos is changing and that the more people and kind of tied in with the COVID because there's some restrictions on music in the establishments. Mm-hmm. Therefore, they're moving into people's backyards and the house parties and the community parties are getting louder. And it seems like we've known since we got there that the Mexican parties are loud and they are loud till 4 o'clock in the morning. That the timing maybe isn't the same as what we want. And they're there to party, and we're maybe there to live, or they're there for different reasons.
We do have live music in the clubs. I mean, that's back in operation.
Yeah.
I listened to Omar play last Thursday night. So the music is in the clubs is not an issue. Now the time, I don't know whether it's midnight now that they have to close down or what, but
yeah,
I don't know. But we've got a bunch of new restaurants in. It's pretty interesting.
Well, we just got confirmation of our rental for December through March. We're not fully vaccinated. We both had our first one, but only our first dose.
You will be shortly unless comes up with a glitch, like now Johnson and Johnson has its big glitch in it.
What's Johnson's? I haven't heard of Johnson's.
Just,
Yeah, they got blood clots again, same as AstraZeneca.
Oh.
and it's from 18 to 48-year-olds, so that women, 18 to 48, so that leaves me out.
Hmm.
And it's been almost a month for me since my vaccine, so I guess, knock on wood, but I guess I made it through the blood clot issue.
Yeah. Well, I'm 1 week out from my first one, and we have a friend, Bill. I just got a message. He did not want to try the mRNAs ones, so he's been trying to get the AstraZeneca one, and he got told today, "You're too old." So, so now he's going to be having the Moderna one. So.
But see, we have two issues about getting to our insurance. We need medical insurance when we're in Mexico. And at the moment, we're not covered for COVID-19 on our current medical. We would have to buy extra medical insurance. So those two things come into play.
Why would you do that if you're fully vaccinated? If it's true what they say, that if you're fully vaccinated, that you're going to have minor issues.
And yeah, with our emergency medical is covering us for unforeseen situations. And at this point, they don't think COVID is an unforeseen. that if you go to an area that has COVID, and then they're not going to cover you for it. So they have written into our emergency medical plan not COVID coverage. Then they have another rider that you can put on it. If we buy the rider for COVID coverage in any country in the world other than the USA, it's so much money a day. If we buy it for COVID coverage in the USA, it's 3 times as much. So but that might change too, because it's not being spread. It's being spread as quickly in Canada as it is in the US at the moment.
In fact, a Canadian friend of mine.
Paul had his hand up. He wants to speak at something.
Just going back to the home surveillance. Linda sold me a light plug, or a plug, a system called CASA, K-A-S-A.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's it.
Was that from down here?
I don't know where she got it, if she brought them in from the States or what, but I'll read what it says here on my phone. Everything you need to get up and running. CASA helps you enjoy the convenience and peace of mind of a fully connected smart home. And there's a website called Smart Home that sells all kinds of devices to surveil your home.
And it's K-A-S-A.
Correct.
Okay, thank you. I was hoping Linda would be on because I know she had a lot of recommendations when we were still meeting at Tequila's, but.
Yeah.
CASA, okay.
What's your app called, Bill, that you watch the house?
Which one? CASA is the name of the plugs that I can tell whether things are running. I can turn off and on fans or heaters or whatever. But I've never seen anything. We got them at Costco. They come as the 2-pack for about $14 or something, or somewhere. And they're very, very, and they are energy monitoring as well. Like they tell you how much energy, how many kilowatt hours you've used on any given device, which is kind of neat to see how much you're using on, say, your little portable electric heater that's in the back room somewhere.
I was just looking through my apps on my phone, and that's maybe something for a computer club sometimes, our favorite apps. We have one called Shazam, Shazam, Shazam. And what you do is when you have it on, a song is playing. Well, we've used it when we're in the casinos, and what is that song? Anyway, so it'll tell you who recorded it, and tell you a little bit of history about the band, and it even saves it in your playlist kind of thing. So it's a fun little app.
Oh, and if Scott is still listening by chance, I did get my ink cartridge, my 145 black ink cartridge for Canada. I got it from Amazon, Mexico. It was a day early getting here, and they brought it, Paul, right to my door here in Loma del Mar.
Wow.
Good.
It was, however, $50, but now I have an ink cartridge. So
How much was it?
50 US, 50.
Try and make one for that much.
I wonder how much that is per ounce of ink.
I don't know. I doubt that there's an ounce in it. I mean, that was for the XL, for the extra number of sheets. I thought, as long as I'm buying one, I might as well buy the one that's going to give me the most sheets. But checking the price of a new printer at Walmart, they were well over $150 US. They've gone up to $30 units.
It used to be potato chips that had the exorbitant price per pound.
I think
Now it's ink.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't
have the same. They should have the same thing as grocery stores do. When you look at the price, it tells you price per ounce, so you can do some comparatives shopping. Price per ounce of ink might be an interesting.
We don't use our printer very often, and I tell you, they dry up more than they run out.
Well, that's it in San Carlos. If it spends the summer, it's worthless.
Mhm.
Oh, no.
You put it in the refrigerator?
Last year I did not, and they worked, and the year before that I did, and they worked, so I don't know.
Okay.
It's like
Actually,
all my batteries in the refrigerator, and I came back and most of them weren't any good, and the next year I decided why bother, and most of them still weren't good. So, it's kind of buy new every year, except for the ink cartridges that I can't. So
yeah, I have brought back inkjet cartridges that have dried right up. They wouldn't rejuvenate. They wouldn't do anything. You take a paper towel and get it wet, and then just set the print head down on it and let them soak there for a half a day, and then try to rejuvenate them. And I brought them back that way. That's the only way I know to get them to come back.
Well, I took a Q-tip and put rubbing alcohol on the ink jets, and it dissolves the ink nicely, but I still have trouble, I think.
Oh yeah, I've never gotten along with an inkjet cartridge that was any length at all. In my classroom, I used to have an inkjet printer that would print on fabric, and those cartridges, there was 6 of them altogether, and I think it was over $1,000 to change those cartridges if they dried out on them. It was special ink, and it was a special machine, and the cartridges were big. So I used to basically purge them. You could purge the lines, and I would tell my students, 1 day a week we can print. You have your projects ready, and then after that I'd purge the lines, and it sat empty, and then they would work. But that's the only way I keep them working.
Well, did you ever use that? It's heat release paper that you print on, and then put it on your T-shirt and iron it on.
Oh yeah, they do work, but after about 2 washings, they start to crack up pretty bad.
Oh yeah.
It's kind of looks okay the first time when you first put it on, but it only takes what a lot of those designs look like. They got big cracks in the solid colors. That's what happens.
Yeah.
but they
And you
work.
did plaster sol too. You used the plaster silk screening.
Well, that silk screening's a whole different ballgame.
Yeah.
But that printer that I had, it would print on a T-shirt. It had a movable. It's called a platen. It would move back and forth. It would print anything you put on the screen. It would print on a T-shirt.
Oh, that's nice.
And it was heat set. You had to take it out of there and set it on the heat press and press it to set it. But it was nice. I mean, students could get almost any project they wanted on there. Some of them that I didn't want on there.
Well, I was going to say something that school doesn't want.
Well, true enough. I had one time I was making T-shirts for some student group, and the one girl hadn't got her T-shirt in soon enough, so she comes bustling in there in the morning when I was on a prep, and I had the screen set up yet, and she says, I need a T-shirt. I got to get it in. And I said, well, I don't have any more left. I used all the ones I ordered. So she said, just a minute. She went into the dark room, stripped off her T-shirt, looked around the corner, fired it out to me, and I printed the image on it and threw it back to her, and she was happier than hell. I figured I was living on the edge that day.
Yeah, you'd lose your job in Virginia for that.
You'd lose more than that.
If he was still working, he might lose it today.
Yeah. No, I stopped. I used to have two dark rooms in the back of my room, and I stopped using them as soon as I could get digital printing or digital photography going and could afford it. I stopped using the liquid or the chemical photography. First off, because you go in there and there'd be chemical dripping from the ceiling. You go in there, you can't see in, you can't sneak in there because they hear you coming. So there was three reasons. One was the chemicals splashed around. The kids have been fooling around. Another one is I thought maybe we were adding to the potential population of schools in there once in a while. And the third one was that I find myself in there with a young girl all by ourselves, and all it would take is one accusation and I'd be out of a job. So it was a case of let's just shut this down as quick as we could. But kids really did like doing chemical photography. It's just incredibly difficult for them to get a picture.
Yeah.
That
reminds me, I have two enlargers with color heads on them. Is there any value to them anymore?
Boat anchors. Listen,
Yeah,
I wound up years ago. With a process camera, they called. I had a vertical one, just a small one. But the newspaper in town phoned me up and asked me if I wanted their process camera. Process cameras, what you shoot the line art for on all of the stuff. And this thing was about 12, 13-foot bed on it. Was probably in those days $50,000 to buy. They wanted to give it to me. I had no room for it, no reason for it, and they basically cut it up and threw it in the dump. They because they were doing everything on computers by then.
Yeah.
That before you had the ranch?
Which ranch?
The one you're in now.
We call it the project.
It's
What?
the project.
It's the project.
Project sounds like it's in the inner city.
Mm. Well, it
Too
kind of
bad.
looked like it when we moved in. We first got it.
Yeah, it looks pretty nice now. It's pretty comfortable. Anyway, I think I'm going to get going. I don't have any real additions to throw in here about things to watch or anything, but I really am looking forward to what looks like a week of sunny weather here on Vancouver Island. And there's rumor it might even go up to 18 degrees. Yahoo. So
We're supposed to be there this weekend too, but we had spring last week for about 3 days. And then on Friday, it started snowing again. And Saturday, our ground was totally white. So we're back to that. And it is going to melt today, but we had few furies yesterday even. So
We had hail. It was covered. All the decks and everything were all covered with hail on Saturday morning here, and it's because the sky is clear. It drops almost to freezing at night, but it goes up in the daytime. And being on the Vancouver Island where we get 4 seasons a year, we're having great spring vegetables now out of the garden. So we're happy campers.
yeah, there is.
Where do you live on Vancouver?
It's a Vancouver Island, and it's an island that's about 300 miles long.
Yeah, I've been there. Where do you live?
Well, we live in Qualicum Beach, just north of Nanaimo, about 120 miles north of Victoria. So we're about a third of the way up the island on the east side. So it's a very gentle climate, and luckily for us, behind us, there's the main chain of the island, and then there's a second chain of mountains called the Beauforts. So we actually get a very dry climate compared to a lot of this coastal area.
Yeah, I went fishing for salmon we ended up on the west side, but we went and took a ferry from it's 100 miles north of you.
Up to
Fort Maloney or something like that.
Oh, Fort McNeil.
No, so it's ended in anyway. There's a sound that goes cuts almost the entire island in half.
Yes. Oh, Port Alberni, maybe.
That's
Alberni.
It. Port Alberni. Yeah.
Yeah, that's about 30 kilometers from me.
Yeah. So we took a ferry down almost to the mouth and went to a resort there. But the strange thing to me is we were coming home with these frozen salmon, and the big city at the end there, I guess that's
Victoria?
not Vancouver, Victoria.
Victoria.
And we had to go to the ice plant to get dry ice. Whereas if you're in Mexico and when you get to Arizona, every grocery store has dry ice.
Yeah.
To keep your food frozen.
That's right. If you'd asked for salt to put on ice to melt it, we probably would have had that.
Yeah. And in Mexico, do you know what dry ice is? Hielo seco?
No, I've never.
Hielo seco is styrofoam.
Oh.
Oh,
Isn't that funny? What do they call dry ice, I wonder?
I don't know. Carbon dioxide, I guess.
Yeah, carbon dioxide.
Dioxide de carbono.
Yeah. Anyway, have a good one. See you guys next week. Au revoir.
Au revoir. My goodness.
Ciao. Ciao. It's funny, the Mexicans use ciao, but they spell it differently than the Italians. In Italian, it's C-A-I-O.
yeah.
Ciao. And I think they do C-H-U or something like that in Mexico. I forget, but it's not written the same. That's our linguistics for the day.
Judy, your mic's on.
Taco Tuesday.
Okay.
Later.
Happy Tuesday.
Taco Tuesday.
Taco Tuesday.
Yes.
Now you're making me sad.
We would be going to Tortugas. Where do you go for Taco Tugos?
Tortugas.
Yeah.
Tortugas.
Say hi to Felipe for us. I still think he makes the best ones, the best tacos.
I do too. Somebody is really gratingly loud.
Sounds like a water faucet.
It does.
Well, I would.
If it's me, I've got to go and get the dog washed. So I'll bid to everybody a nice weekend, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.
See you, Fred.
Bye.
Bye-bye. I just, the only thing I heard was our furnace just cut in. So.
No, there was a definite waterfall sound. It was Fred. It's always Fred.
So how come Paul doesn't show up on the San Carlos Computer Club?
What do you mean? Oh, you
Why?
here.
I see me.
Yeah, I see you.
Is
Oh,
it
you
when
mean on the?
you don't
Oh,
see me when I talk, you mean?
No,
No,
you
it's
know what? I think Scott is recording it, and he's got the San Carlos Computer Club turned on, and he's got us marked as hosts. And so
I have it on auto layout,
Yeah,
and I see me.
I have it on tiled, and I can see all four of us. Like I can see four people in the screen.
Yeah, right.
And on the fourth one, it's the San Carlos Computer Club, and I see Bill and I.
yeah,
Right.
that combination thing, the one that Scott pinned. But you're not on it. You're not important enough to be on it, Fred or Paul.
Really? Let me looking at my screen here. So what are the four pictures? I see Cheryl, and I see Bill, and I see the San Carlos Computer Club. You only see 3 pictures?
No, I see four because I see Bill, you, but the San Carlos Computer Club. What do you see on that one?
The 2 of you.
Yeah, that's what we say the same thing.
Oh, okay.
All right. Well,
Anyway.
I'm gonna do this. Do I have to do the San Carlos Computer Club sign off?
If you need any help, be sure to get in touch with Scott.
Don't get in touch with Scott right now because he's preoccupied.
That's right. Yes. Wait until after the flu has passed or whatever it is.
I think you have to sing the theme song.
Oh, geez,
I don't know what's
think
the
we got one.
theme song.
We'll have to get Rudy B on making Scott one. So Paul, Sam Rainwater's thinking of doing a CD release tour this summer.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's going to be up in Colorado and making his way up here to Canada, hopefully, if the borders open and everything. And we'll have a concert on our land. So,
Oh, great.
yeah,
Yeah.
that'll be fun.
Yeah, you're welcome if you want to come.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there a bus? Is there a two-face bus that gets there?
The Two-Face that goes everywhere. They must come here somewhere.
You can get to Vegas.
In California, it gets up to Sacramento or Redding, but it costs $100 to go from Guaymas to LA. That's all.
That's it? Yeah.
Well, it did when I last checked 5 years ago.
Well, I checked it once, and Guaymas our friends came down from Tucson, but at the same time, they live in Las Vegas, and they could have taken the bus from Las Vegas over to Arizona and down to Guaymas or further. And it was not that expensive, so I think it was 4 days or something.
My brother and sister-in-law rode it a couple times, and they thought it was great. They'd get on there at close to midnight going back to Tucson or Phoenix, and they basically just went to sleep and woke up and they were there pretty much. They thought it was a great trip.
Plus, they've got Wi-Fi the whole time.
Well, the Wi-Fi is pretty sketchy, I think.
Oh, is it? It's not satellite.
Yeah, it's sort of more like dial-up.
Yeah.
Makes that funny noise.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I guess the only problem I heard with the bus is that there was a checkpoint and everybody got off the bus, and the authorities went on the bus and they found marijuana under one of the seats, but it wasn't it was some tourist that it got stashed under their seat.
Oh.
On the way out, the culprit put it under somebody else's seat.
There you go. In Canada, marijuana is legal all the way across the country now. It's legal everywhere. And my daughter phoned one day and wanted to know what was the original question. Do you want some? Yeah. She was going to get some seeds. Did we want some? And she said, "Well, what kind? What strain do you want?" Well, how the hell do I know? We used to buy it by the bag from the guy over in the back alley, and she's got 10 or 12 plants growing in her, started in her living room from some seeds she bought from somewhere. And some of them are ours. That last year she packaged it up. She had some plants given to her, and she packaged it up when she harvested, sent it to us in the mail. We just got a package from the post office that had about an ounce of weed in it. You know, I mean, my God, times have changed.
Yeah, yeah. Well, but historically, I guess there used to be great fields of hemp in the United States, probably, and Canada.
Yeah.
When they were,
Well,
when they
not
were
so much
using the
Canada.
fiber.
Well, and just about 30 miles or so from us right now is a group of farmers that are putting together. They're building a hemp processing plant, the biggest one in North America when it's finished and running. They're going to process hemp. But the hemp used to be a big crop, and until I believe the story I heard is DuPont got a hold of it and wanted, you know, they were making hemp rope for sailors and stuff, and they DuPont got a hold of it and got it outlawed so they could sell their nylon rope.
Oh, yeah.
That's the story I heard why hemp disappeared and is just slowly making a comeback now. Because there's absolutely no reason you shouldn't be growing this.
Right, right. I don't know if that was effective, you know, toxic hemp then, or if it was innocent hemp.
I don't know.
Well, sometimes it's only one part of it. The hemp is used for cotton and fabric and things like that. Or not cotton, but fabric and rope and different things. But
no, there's no noticeable amount of THC in hemp. There is some. You can find it. There's trace amounts. You'd have to smoke a pound of it to even get started.
Well, you know, I was 32 the first time I knew anything about marijuana. Well, I went to Humboldt State, which is now a big hippie hemp place. You know, up there in Humboldt County, when you're going in the summer, there's bud trimmers standing all around waiting for a job and stuff like that. But I went to this folk festival in my town here, San Pedro, California, and it was set up with hay bales to sit on, and I saw people smoking, and I thought, well, that's a dumb thing to smoke sitting on a hay bale. And sure enough, after a while, I smelled grass burning, but I didn't see anybody getting excited about it.
Yeah. Well, when I went back from university, I went farming with my family, and I started growing marijuana plants out in, you know, we had 1,000 acres of land. We could hide stuff, and I had plants growing in the back. And my mom helped me transplant the seeds, and my dad found out, you know, like we harvested it. And he wasn't so sure about that until he found out what it was worth. Then he figured that was a hell of a cash crop. And I always aspired to growing enough that I could bale it. I was always wanted to bale it just to see if I could do it. But we never had that.
Your cornfield was only 20 feet around the perimeter of the acreage.
Well, I used to sit on the irrigation council, basically, and for the whole district, the whole irrigation district. And we had hired a plane in those days to fly infrared photographs so you could see the crops. And some law agency came to us and wanted those pictures because you could see in the middle of the cornfield out there would be a plot, a square plot of something different. And what would happen is the people who wanted to grow it would just go find a farmer's field of corn. They would count so many rows in, so many steps down, and they'd go in and hack out the corn and plant it, and just make sure they went back before it was harvested. And you come across these spots of open ground. And the only one I ever heard that was funnier than that was somebody did that up close to a feedlot. They had a big plot there. But the feedlot uses the effluent from their plants or their feedlot to fertilize through the pivots, through the pivot sprinklers. And no, I'm sorry, it wasn't out of the feedlot. It was across the road was a pig processing plant. They grew pork and processed it there. And they spread that on their corn, and the marijuana was pretty much unsmokable after that. It was pretty fun.
Oh, I thought maybe it stuck up 8 feet above the corn.
Well, it probably did. It was the only time that I ever saw that the law enforcement found it, because they didn't even bother harvesting it. Then the guy go out there cutting corn, and he said, "Whoa, what's this?" So there was pictures in the paper of them burning this pile of weed. Anyway, that's it for the hippie stories.
Yeah. They were standing downwind, but it didn't help. It didn't affect them.
It was pretty hard to take, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is the San Carlos Computer Club signing off. Yada, yada, yada. Tech on. There you go.
Okay.
See you, Paul.
Bye now.
Bye-bye. So you left. What happens if I leave? I guess, Scott, you're going to be recording nothing from now on. It is 11:15 or 11:13 on your time. Bye-bye. Hope you guys feel better soon.
Well, that was the San Carlos Computer Club. I'm Scott Stimson, the regular host who could not be with them today because of sickness. So I am shutting down the meeting and the stream now. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll talk to you next Tuesday at 10. Until then, tech on.